Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Perth East Council, the second day of June. I'd like to call our meeting to order. If everyone could please bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We have a motion to confirm the agenda. Let the agenda as prepared for June 2nd, 2026, meeting of Council of the Township of Perth East be approved as received. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. If you have pecuniary interests, you can disclose that now as our meeting goes along. We have 12 items under consent agenda. Is there any item anyone would like pulled or they have questions on? Nope. Okay. And we have a motion that items 5.1.1 to 5.1.12 is set out on the consent agenda for the June 2nd, 2026 regular meeting of council be received for information, and that the minutes of May 20th, 2026 regular council meeting be adopted. Moved by Andrew, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're moving to presentations. We have no public presentations, no other presentations, no delegations. Under public meetings and hearings, we have no public meetings and no public hearings. Reports, we have nothing from planning, nothing from the CAO. Under the clerk, we have Optimist Club Easter egg hunt, and we have Stephanie with us tonight, and Stephanie is going to do a report. So,
good evening, Council. So I have a report here for the Easter egg hunt. We had a report come in on April 8th during our regular meeting of council for the Optimist Club to have access to the fire parking as well as the library parking facilities. So this report was circulated and we did get some feedback from fire and from the Perth East Public Library. The only comments were in support, as well as just outlining where residents who are partaking in the Easter egg hunt can park so that they do not block emergency exits or emergency vehicles. So I can answer any questions if there is any. There is also a schedule attached with the mapping in the third page of the report.
okay, thank you. Any questions of the report? No questions. We have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Deputy Clerk / Records Management Coordinator dated June 2nd, 2026, entitled Optimist Club Easter Egg Hunt 2027 for information, and further that Council approve the Optimist Club's request to host a 2027 Easter Egg Hunt on the Township property, subject to the following conditions. Number one, that all parking be restricted to the area identified by fire services in the approved parking plan. Number two, that the event be coordinated with the Perth East Public Library and the township staff as required. And number three, that the event organizer provide insurance satisfactory to the township, naming the township of Perth East as an additional insured if required. Mover and a seconder, moved by Bob, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're moving to finance, and we have natural gas and electricity analysis, and Paul, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Agats. So periodically, a review of the township's natural gas and electricity accounts are conducted for possible savings for the township through participation in purchasing programs and to ensure that we're getting the best rates for what we're obtaining. Recently, LAS, Local Authority Services, was contacted for a free analysis of both the township's natural gas and electricity accounts. Both of these analyses came back with savings that the township could realize through joining the LAS programs that are offered. The LAS natural gas program offers a single rate throughout the year and has issued annual rebates exceeding $7 million to its members since 2008, and this provides predictability in stabilizing budgets. The electricity hedging program is a group-based hedge program. Participants can hedge anywhere from 20 to 75% of their electricity usage at a fixed rate, and then the remaining 80 to 25% is at current market rates. Currently, the township has 4 accounts that are under contract with ONIT Wholesale Energy until August and September of 2027, at which time, with council's approval tonight, would be switched over to the LAS program. The savings for both these programs are not projected to be huge by any means for the township, but are estimated at 1 to 2% savings for the annual natural gas spend and 9 to 10% of the annual electricity spend. It's important for council to be aware that these programs are intended for the long term, and there could be years where it costs the township to participate in the LAS natural gas and electricity hedging programs. However, in times of volatility and quickly increasing commodity rates, the benefits of enrollment outweigh the costs over the long term. Staff is recommending council approve the enrollment of the township in the LAS natural gas and electricity programs. This concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thanks, Paula. Any questions of the report, Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor Higgins. We're working today. Is there any fallout from what's going on in way east of us here? Like, is this a bad time to sign up, or like, I don't know how long it's been tracked or what the advice was. Is 6 months from now, if it could be worse, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, this is through the mayor. Thank you for the question. It's hard to know your crystal ball of what time is a good time to sign up. With markets changing daily on this stuff, there's benefits to joining now. The returns, the savings, the potential savings is low right now, I would say. And hopefully we could realize more if the markets go way up, but it's hard to say. This is a conservative savings right now,
So overall, it seems pretty safe. There's no real
Yeah.
stretch. Okay,
from my opinion, yes.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Now, we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report titled Natural Gas and Electricity Analysis, FIN-2026-12, prepared by the Manager of Financial Services Treasurer, dated June 2nd, 2026, for information, and that approval be granted to enroll the township in the Local Authority Services, LAS, natural gas and electricity programs. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Paula. Okay, now we're moving to Public Works, and we have the Water Wastewater Master Plan update. Jake, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mayor Higgins. My report tonight covers the long-awaited draft of the Water Wastewater Master Plan update. As a bit of a refresher for council, the original master plan was completed back in 2018, which outlined several capital projects to be undertaken by the township. Those are summarized in my report on pages 1 and 2, or page 59 and 60 of the agenda package. Several of the projects identified at that point have been completed or are in progress at this point in time. As council is well aware, the state of growth in the province and in the township have changed dramatically since 2018. This has had substantial implications on all communities, but specifically in Perth East, Milverton, and Shakespeare, accelerating what was really projected back in 2018. As such, staff initiated an update to the master plan with the purpose of updating development commitments, completed infrastructure projects, assessing anticipated growth, and identifying infrastructure needs to support this growth. The master plan is being conducted in accordance with requirements of Approach 2 of the Municipal Class CA process. Tomorrow, June 3rd, there's official notice of project and public meeting that's going to be issued, outlining the purpose of the study and highlight the scheduled public meetings to review the potential solutions considered to date and provide an opportunity for the public to provide comments so that we can make more informed decisions in the evaluation process. You'll see in the report, there are 2 scheduled public meetings, one in Shakespeare for the 24th of June, it's a Wednesday, and one in Milverton on the Thursday, the June 25th, both meetings running from 6:30 to 8:30. Notice will be provided in the Beacon Herald, Milverton Opportunities, the township's website, social media platforms. Additionally, the notice will be provided to appropriate agencies for their input with the hope of collectively maximizing public input from stakeholders. Once this process is completed and the comments considered in the outcomes of the master plan, a notice of study completion will be noticed, placing the master plan on the public record. Following this, there will again be another review period, allowing further comment from stakeholders. And finally, staff will bring a report that would be considered the final draft at a future council meeting. At that point, we'd be looking for council to adopt the plan. Currently, the draft is still in rough form. BM Ross and township staff have been working collectively to ensure there's up-to-date information being considered in the evaluation of the potential solutions to the identified infrastructure needs. At this point, I just wanted to highlight for council some of the key takeaways of the study to date, including potential infrastructure issues and solutions being considered. The first and perhaps most important topic discussed to date is the state of the Milverton drinking water system capacity, development commitments and proposals in Milverton, including Reed's Heritage Homes subdivision, the O'Malley Home subdivision, Apple Home subdivision, and other developments through site plan, severances, ARUs. The theoretical water demand is projected to exceed the value the existing system can supply in the future. It is worth noting that a large allocation has been made for the servicing of the Percon subdivision, composed of industrial lots. While industry standards were referenced in this allocation, it's still speculative, just given the nature of the subdivision itself. Early analysis of the businesses that occupy the subdivision indicate that the calculations have over-allocated capacity for the subdivision. The calculations have basically allocated what would be equivalent to 127 single houses being built. In reality, those businesses are not huge water users. I did some math today. The 4 that are out there, their most recent utility bills, basically collectively, all 4 of them combined for what is less consumption than a single house, and we've allocated 127. Not that that's perfect math, but that said, it's staff feel it's no cause for concern. What this does mean, however, is there's going to hit a point here where we would recommend not committing to any additional development in Milverton in particular, until such a time more water supply can be confirmed. So given that, staff anticipate this to be one of the priorities identified in the master plan. Aside from the supply issue in Milverton, there's also the issue of pumping capacity and storage, which need to be considered concurrently. A reservoir expansion and a high lift pump upgrade could potentially be avoided through the construction of an elevated storage facility. Detailed cost analysis and engineering investigation would be required to really better identify the preferred alternative there. And outside of those topics, there's several other projects highlighted in my report on page 4. And in the agenda package on pages 154, 155, and 156, which include probable costs. It is worth noting that two of the projects listed there that the township has received provincial funding for, including just over 675,000 for the replacement of well 4 and reservoir repairs. That's through the health and safety water stream, and 707,000 for the Mill Street West pump upsizing and electrical upgrades through the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund. Staff will certainly continue to seek provincial funding for these infrastructure projects, offered federally or provincially. And then additionally, staff are working on an update now for the development charges, which several of these projects are anticipated to be included where appropriate. As is evident from the 186-page draft report, there is a significant amount of information for the public and council like to interpret. It is the hope of staff that through the public meetings, further understanding will be gained by all stakeholders. Staff encourage any interested members of the public to attend these sessions and provide input so that we can make more informed decisions reflective of the entire community. That concludes my summary. I'll do my best to answer any questions, but we also have representatives of BM Ross in attendance that might be able to answer some of the questions they're better suited to do. Thanks.
Thanks, Jake, and my apologies to the staff from BM Ross. I should have introduced you at the beginning as well. So, any questions from members of council to either Jake or staff from BM Ross at this time? Andrew?
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate it's early and it is a lot of information, so what I could go through. I didn't have time to send it to staff beforehand. I apologize, but it's a lot of reading for a small period of time. So I mentioned on page 4 with the charts, which were great about some of the project descriptions. Some of the scope kind of looks like what we did in the other water system, which resulted in some current user contributions, I guess. I'm not sure whether we're that far along, but anything like that, because of the dollar values on the other chart, I think somehow it needs to be relayed to the people who would be affected. Yeah, so the chart on the page 4 of the report, and then that chart of the cost, it's a significant amount of money. So we were talking before, $2 million on the other project, the other water facility. This is substantially more. It's like 6.5 million-ish. So that would be more users. But anyway, I'm just saying that if that's going to happen, that we're going to have contributions, and we're clearly not that far along. It needs to be made clear as soon as possible if there's going to be any current user. You mentioned stakeholders, contributions. So that would be one thing I'd like to just put out there. So obviously growth pays for growth. Yeah, so the precise clarity on financial implications and how it's all going to be paid for, I think you guys have addressed that. And I'm just curious, in these cases, when somebody wants to build a subdivision, whether it's 30 houses or 300, who's the proponent? Is it the developer? What is the municipality's role? Are they a co-proponent? Or is it, is the already developed established ratepayer part of that formula too? Like, do we not just ask them like a sidewalk and a road to put a well in and a pump house, and then it gets connected to the system? I'm pretty sure they do that in other, if that's a possibility, that might be a good way to keep the public's money in their pocket.
Yeah, through the mayor, I guess for starters, some of the items that are on that list are growth as a result of growth directly. Some of them are not, but majority I would say are. But that's something we can get into. We've not looked too deeply at the cost breakdown. This is just kind of a rough estimate at this point in time. But to your second question, we have developers come to us. There's certain expectations we lay out, in particular for road upgrades, that sort of thing. But I think often there's a bit of an expectation with developers that the capacity is going to be there for them. This is, like you mentioned, the potential of a big development coming in and paying for infrastructure directly. I think those are avenues that we're going to have to explore more and more. But it does come down to scale of the development as well. So I think that's always a factor when these proposals are coming in. Hopefully that answers your question to some degree.
No, thank you. It's just more of that anybody who's going to be paying, who's already a current user, needs to know as soon as possible if that's even a possibility. I just think it's prudent and fair in this financial times. The second question I have, I thought we were going to get it here on early. So on page P138, so I see the map of Shakespeare with a bunch of highlighted proposals. So there's number 2 and 9. It looks like from the county OP, number 2 is on there, but it doesn't show 9. If you go to the county official plan map B, whatever, Schedule B land designation map. So is there something I'm missing on this, or is this farther along? Is this going to be directed by the province? Why would we want to put time, effort, and money into something that may or may not happen and hasn't really been discussed as far as council goes?
Yeah, through the mayor, that is a potential development that has come to the township a while back. It's been very quiet on that front for quite some time. But ultimately, we're basically just looking at the potential developments that may come to the communities. None of these are necessarily for certain. There are some commitments, so to speak, like O'Malley, like Reeds, that are much further along in the process. But we're just projecting the needs for development way down the road in some cases such as this. These are just development proposals that we've received to date. Whether or not they move forward at this point, we don't know. So it's variable based on each of the different developments that are identified there in terms of where they're at in the process.
I think that's it for me. We'll have to wait and see how it all rolls out in public comments, I guess, and give us a little more time to read the monstrous reports. And looks like we have to refer to the 2018 report in a few cases too. It took a while to dig that. Thanks very much.
Okay, other questions? Bob?
Well, just to go back to the parcel 9 that Andrew referenced, that's been a future development property for 10, 20 years. Like it's been designated for a long time. I remember trying to have a user buy that property and the seller was unwilling. So just last term or this term that there's been a proposal that looked like a subdivision, but otherwise it's been future development. I bet you 20 years, maybe long. So every municipality has a wish list of things to do, Jake. Maybe there should be a schedule of when some of these things you'd like to see done. And I'm going to reference the iron treatment in Milverton. That was a priority years ago, and now it's fallen off the radar, which is fine. But I think if you're going to identify things, and me or user may wish to know when something like that could happen. It's not important, but if it's included in the 24th and 25th meetings, maybe that's helpful for someone to know that in the years from now, my street might be ripped up, or there's going to be a new reservoir built in or whatever. So it may not be part of the process, but it's identify that it's not happening next year. It may not be 10 years.
Yeah, through the mayor, there are to be timelines roughly established in the document. Those should be part of the presentations. Again, they're very rough and subject to change, but there is to be kind of a rough timeline associated with each of these projects.
Okay, okay. Anybody else? Nope. Okay. There's no more questions, and we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Public Works dated June 2nd, 2026, entitled Water/Wastewater Master Plan Update, PUB-2026-14 for information. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, thanks, Jake. Okay, moving on, we have nothing from building. Under Parks and Recreation, we have bring your own alcoholic beverages to outdoor public events. Becky?
Thanks, Mayor Rhonda. Staff have reviewed the provincial regulations allowing bring your own to outdoor public events and recommending that we not adopt this option. While the province now permits municipalities to bring your own at events, doing so would require the township to take on new responsibilities, including policy development, event approvals, safety and enforcement, and monitoring the compliance. Staff noted that the BYO events conflicts with the township's existing municipal alcohol policy, emphasizing controlled alcohol service, trained servers, and clear accountability. Bring your own models reduce oversight and make it harder to manage intoxication and increase the risk to the people at large and especially in open settings. So again, the recommendation is not to proceed, to continue monitoring how other municipalities are handling the BYO events, and to maybe revisit after things are viewed by other municipalities and if things change. Overall, it's kind of a cautious approach just to safety and enforcement challenges and increased liability as well. So if there's any question, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the report? Hugh?
To the mayor, you didn't happen to hear municipalities that are going to do this, like how much extra insurance or what be they doing?
No, through the mayor. So far, I've only heard of one that's considering it, and that's the municipality of Bayfield. And any of the other ones in our chats and that are recommending not to go ahead with it. So.
Okay, other questions? Seeing none, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services dated June 2nd, 2026, entitled Bring Your Own Alcoholic Beverages at Outdoor Public Events for Information, and that Council directs staff not to proceed with adopting an enabling bylaw or framework to permit Bring Your Own Alcohol, BYO, events at this time, and further that staff continue to monitor provincial implementation, municipal best practices, and risk mitigation frameworks and report back should future consideration be warranted. I need a mover, moved by Andrew, second by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Becky. Okay, we have no report from fire. We have no correspondence. So now we're down to the mayor's meeting log. This is where I've been for the month of May. If there's any questions. Do we have any council reports, any committees anyone's been on since the last meeting to report on? Nope. Okay, so then we just have a motion that the mayor's meeting log dated May 2026 be received for information. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're down to bylaws. We have two bylaws that are read first and second time, and first one is bylaw 112-2026, a bylaw to collect for final maintenance consolidation. And the second one is bylaw 113-2026, being a bylaw to collect for final maintenance, and that's the Kerr Lupton drain from Perth South. So A mover and a seconder for first and second readings, moved by Hugh, second by Andrew. All in favor? Carried. And then third and final readings, we have three. We have bylaw 104-2026, a bylaw being a provisional bylaw for the Schultz Municipal Drain 2026. Second one is bylaw 112-2026, a bylaw to collect for final maintenance consolidation. And the third one is bylaw 113-2026, being a bylaw to collect for final maintenance for the Kerr Lupton Drain in Kerr South. So third and final reading, moved by Bob, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, do we have any notice of motions? Any other business? Any announcements? We don't have a closed session, so we're down to confirmatory bylaw. And that says that bylaw 28-2026, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on June 2nd, 2026, be read a first, second, and third time. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. And the last motion of the night is to adjourn at 7:31 p.m. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.